Single-player games. These games have evolved a lot over the years, Sony in particular striving to make the best and most immersive single-player experiences. These campaigns can take a lot of time to make, the developers wanting to make sure that every part of every level is polished. A multiplayer game, which is different every time due to the actions of other players, always changing, can give you an indefinite number of hours of play, compared to a single-player game that is done once you reach the end of the campaign. The latest critique on this is the new Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, which clocks in at 10 to 12 hours to complete the campaign and around 15 hours to complete all optional side content. This got me thinking, what can developers do to extend out the playtime of a game without diluting the experience by filling it out? Well, the first thing is obviously to make the game good.
Good morning. Ready for combat operation. This is Orbital Frame Jehuti.
Zone of the Enders 2, a game by Hideo Kojima for the PlayStation 2, clocks in at around 4 to 5 hours, but if I had to tell you my total playtime for that game, it would be somewhere in the 30-hour range. This is because that 4 to 5 hour experience is a non-stop rollercoaster of action and epicness. The game also comes with a customizable New Game Plus feature, Kojima once again predicting the future, allowing you to choose almost exactly how you want to play your next playthrough. There's nothing quite like firing that vector cannon right at the beginning of the game. Ratchet & Clank is the same, providing an excellent 15-hour experience that can be enjoyed again and again. And what is more, it offers Challenge Mode once the game has been completed, a mode that lets you buy new versions of any level 5 weapon, which can then upgrade to level 10. It offers 2 new weapons and a bolt multiplier, adding extra challenge by allowing the player to get multipliers to their bolt count as long as they don't get hit. There's enough stuff here that I would argue that Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is a 30-hour experience with a highly replayable campaign, which I'm sure I will come back to again in the future. Another great New Game Plus example is God of War, which allows Kratos to level up 2 extra levels and allows you to obtain all old pieces of gear at these new levels, really allowing you to customize the way you play. There are even New Game Plus exclusive gear to add extra incentive to playing the game again. And Final Fantasy VII Remake is another example, which challenges the player on hard mode to complete each chapter without items or traditional MP recovery. Also adding new skill books, boss attack patterns, and simulator battles. But I bring this up because there are so many games that do not have this, or just simply let you replay the game again with all your abilities but don't actually add anything new. And this is such a wasted opportunity. I would argue that instead of wasting development time putting in countless side quests and filler content, they should instead use that time for New Game Plus. Think of how good Assassin's Creed would be if it had a much shorter campaign, but instead you could do New Game Plus carrying over all of your health and tools, but now there are new enemy types, new weapons and armors to collect. The Last of Us Part 2 is another good example. Say what you might about the story, but it has a stunning 25-hour campaign that could easily be turned into 50 hours if they leaned into New Game Plus. Imagine being able to carry over all of your guns and upgrades, except now enemies are stronger, their placements are different to account for you now having all the weapons from your first playthrough. They could even add a new weapon and skill magazine for each character, furthering their growth and changing up gameplay. And this wouldn't take long to implement. It took several years to develop The Last of Us Part 2 to make a 25-hour campaign, but it would likely only take months to double that if they implemented a proper New Game Plus mode. I mean, they went to all this trouble to create these stunning levels, so why not use them as much as they can? And this isn't the only game that would benefit from this kind of treatment. Demon's Souls for PS5, I would argue, already has a lot of replayability, but with just a little bit of development, just think about how much more replayable it could be. For example, after completing the game once, you can unlock the Blue Point Rebalance campaign, which is the same campaign but bosses, weapons, etc. have all been rebalanced to how the new developers think they should be. You could also unlock a randomizer mode, which would allow the player to set how they would like to play the campaign by selecting yes or no to randomizing enemies, items, or even NPC locations. This would provide almost limitless replayability to the game. We've seen more and more games provide a New Game Plus mode in recent years, but I think this mode should be more, to add extra value and playtime to a game. And then no longer would a single player game be just a 15-hour campaign, but one with limitless potential. Well, those are just my thoughts on replayability in single-player games, and the power of a New Game Plus mode. But I'd like to hear what you think in the comments below. And if you can think of any game that would benefit from a New Game Plus mode, then let me know, and also how you think that mode could be changed to make it even more replayable. If you like this video, smash that like button and hit that subscribe button. This has been That's Evan Rich, and I'll see you in the next one.